Hey guys, Snupy here. So 9.1 is finally out, which means I'm making a guide for both Necrolord and Knife for this patch. In today's video, we're going to cover Necrolord in 9.1, the talents, honor talents, conduits, Soulbinds stats, everything, opener, rotation, everything you need to know for how to PvP on Necrolord Druid. I've played quite a bit this season so far on Necrolord, actually more than my Knife. It's still really strong, probably the strongest, or it is the strongest Covenant Druid overall. While Knife is also very, very strong, but I think overall, especially in threes, Necrolord is still the move. But Knife can also perform at a very, very high level in both, as my rank 1 was actually achieved on Knife and not Necrolord. But if you want to get EC rating as Druid in threes, I'd say play Necrolord Druid and play BM Jungle, and you're going to get rating very, very easily if you just kind of like learn the comp and yeah, just blast. Alright, so yeah, now on to talents. Alright, so for talents for Necrolords in Ep 1 is still pretty much same as last patch with like some minor changes here and there. On the first row, we're going to play Lunar Inspiration. Super good with your Drought Legendary, but also with Swarm. And just like ask Necrolord to go for damage over time mainly, and then Lunar is super good for this, and also you can range kite and like build the comp points as you're kiting around, which is super good. Second row, we have Wild Charge, Renewal, and Tiger Dash. Here, Wild Charge is pretty much always the move. Renewal can be decent sometimes, but in general, Wild Charge is nice for engaging enemies, but also getting away when you're in trouble. You can even jump to teammates by jumping when you're not in form. On the 30 row, we have all the affinities: Bounce Affinity, Guardian Affinity, and Rest Affinity. Here, Guardian, especially in this patch, is pretty much always the move. Resto can be nice sometimes, but this patch, especially with the Shackle Trinkets, it's super nice. You can roar shackles, because quite often teams will play like 1, 2, or even 3. So you can cleanse one with remove corruption, and then you can roar maybe 1 or 2 as well, which is super nice. And also just having regen is super good. And at the moment, like the patch is so bursty, so yeah, I say play Guardian pretty much always. But Resto is also not a bad option, especially if you feel like you can kite well, get value out of Vortex, and also get some big Swiftbends. As Swiftbend was never nerfed, like regrowth and regen. On the 35 row, we have Bash, Mastered, and Heart of the Wild. Here, Bash is pretty much the move usually. Mastered is quite nice. You can play like you face like Windwalker Arsham. They can have Windwalker pets and like an Earth Elite. Then having Mastered can be super good, or even into Beam Hunters. You can root the pets there as well. So if you can like root a lot of pets, I think it can be super nice. But Bash is also like usually the go-to, just for the extra stun and the CC setup. On the 40 row, we have Soul the Forest, Savage Roar, and Incarn. So on this row, some Ferals play Savage Roar all the time pretty much, while some don't. I think in NA usually, like more Ferals do it. In EU, most play Soul the Forest. Both are really good. I'm playing Soul myself. I kind of prefer it. But if you like Savage Roar, it's definitely like a very viable option. It's just one more thing you gotta maintain, which some people enjoy. But personally, I prefer Soul the Forest. On the 45 row, we have Scent of Blood, Brutal Slash, and Primal Wrath. Here, Slash pretty much always the move. It's a great way to generate comp points, and I definitely recommend it the most. Here on the 5th row, we have Frenzy, BT, and Moment of Clarity. On this row, as Necrolord, I say always go Frenzy. BT could work for some huge bleeds, and also decent bites. But in general, having the Frenzy Swarm combo with a Fury is so nice. It gives you a lot of burst, in addition to your overall damage. But yeah, so those are the normal talents, and now on to honor talents. Alright, so now on to honor talents. So the change that I was talking about with honor talents, it comes with Wicked Claws. And this is a healing reduction that stacks up 2 times, 10% up to 20%, and is applied on Rake and Rip. This one is really strong, so anytime your team does not have a healing reduction effect on your side, then you want to play this one. So in like 2s, for example, you can play with like a priest or a paladin usually, or like any healer. Then you're gonna be playing this for sure. But in 3s, with like a jungle cleave or a kitty cleave, where you have a warrior or a hunter, they're gonna be using their MS effect, so you're not gonna be playing it. But let's say in 2s, if you're facing like a melee, like a rogue healer or a warrior healer, whatever it might be, you want to play Thorns for sure, Wicked, and then Leader is also quite nice. But if you want to, you can swap Leader for Strength of the Wild, depending on which one you feel is going to be the most value in the specific game. But yeah, when it comes to Thorns, if you're facing casters, of course, you don't want it, and then you can play like this as well. And if you're playing 3s and you don't need the healing reduction, if you're playing like Kitty Cleave or Jungle Cleave, you can go maybe like this, or even like this. High Winds is a new one as well. That can be okay, but I wouldn't really recommend it, as it's kind of clunky, like spam clones. As if you're spamming clones the whole game, you're not gonna have the high optimum bleeds and then lose out on a lot of pressure. So I wouldn't really recommend this one a lot. But yeah, that's my take on Arntons for Necrolord Feral Druids. Again, leader might not be the best for Necro, as like crit doesn't really matter, but it's still a decent choice, and it can be nice. But yeah, now on to the next part of the guide. Alright, so when it comes to like legendary choice for Necrolord in Epo 1, it's pretty much the same as last season. There is a new Lego for Necrolord, which like has a chance to split swarm into more targets, but I don't really recommend this one, and usually I stick with Draught of Deep Focus. Sometimes you can also play Circle of Life and Death if you want to cleave teams down. Can be really good. I personally play Draught like pretty much always because I'm kind of lazy. I haven't farmed more Torghast. I actually have a lot of Soulish now though. But yeah, I recommend Draught pretty much always. Circle is quite nice sometimes if you want to cleave. But I don't really recommend trying out the new Necro Lego for now. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now moving on. Alright, so now for the stat prio for Necrolord Feral Druids, we're going to go for Verse first, Mastery second, and then Haste, and then Crit last. Verse first, of course, because Verse is super good overall. Makes it more tanky, increases your damage done, and also your healing done, and overall it's just like a very powerful stat. Mastery, of course, increases your bleed damage. Also bite damage, but bleed damage is the focus as a Necrolord. Haste third, super good. And then last one is Crit. Crit's like decent still, but it's the worst stat for Necrolord, so try to get Verse Mastery on every piece you can. The pieces you can't, go for Haste Verse, and you'll be set when it comes to stats. But yeah, now on to the rotation part of the guide. So yeah, let's jump into it. Alright, so now on to Soulbinds and Conduits. So I still recommend Plague Devicer, Merilith the most. It's super nice, especially with the Ultimate Form and the Ooze. And then also the Kevin's Oozling is also quite nice. So you have two kind of tanky oozing things there that make you more tanky. As we all know, Necrolord is very tanky, and that's thanks to you know, Fleshcraft and also these kind of Soulbinds. So for the Conduits here, though, we're gonna go this path. The first one, Evolve Swarm, super good, increases damage on your Swarm, which is always nice, of course. Second one, Well-Honed Instincts. It got nerfed, but it's still a very nice choice, especially when we get it in like higher eye level. Then that's gonna be like more similar to what it was before. Moving down, Carnivorous Instincts is the second potency for Necrolord. Super good. Fury damage is always nice. Every 30 seconds. And then we have Innate Resolve for the second Endurance. Mine is only 145, but it's really good. Increases your healing on regrowth and regen, which is always nice, especially after the nerf on these. So kind of like takes away the nerf a bit. And then we're going here, and then... So for the new potency, I went for Taste of Blood. I think it's the best one, as bites are still quite nice as Necrolord. You can also go Sudden Ambusher, but I do kind of recommend Taste of Blood the most, as you can definitely get some nice finish with some big bites. You can probably get like 10 to like 12k crits with this, which is pretty good. And then we're going down to the left side because we want to get the Endurance again. And here, I've opted for the new Condensed Animasphere. It's quite nice. I'm not like that convinced yet that is the best one. Maybe Ursign could be good too, but it's definitely a solid option. And then we're gonna go down here and get the Kevin's Oozling for the last one. So yeah, there are the Soulbinds and Conduits for Necrolord. There might be like other options you could do and like test, like for example this one. But yeah, for now, and I think for the whole patch, pretty much this will be the move. So that's what I recommend. And now on to the next part of the guide. Alright, now I'm going to show you the opener and rotation for Necrolord Feral Druids in Epo 1. So it's still pretty much the same as last season. Again, I'm playing Soul of the Forest, not Savageor. Both are viable. The playstyles are pretty much the same. Just going to like maintain Savageor as well when you play it. But I'm playing Soul because it's my preference. And both are like very good, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, let's open up now. So we're going to use Fury and Stealth, Rake, Feral Frenzy, Apply Swarm, Rip, and then Moonfire, and then maybe like Berserk Shred. You can also actually like Berserk before you Rip, so you get more comp points back on the first Rip, and then it's like Blast in the opener. So I'll show you now. We go Rake, Feral Frenzy, Swarm Berserk, Rip, and then Moonfire, and then we can Shred, and then Bite. And then you can Shred, maybe Slash for one combo, and then Bite again. So this is pretty much like the opener you want to do to get full bleeds up, and then to start like snowballing damage into them. And now we're just gonna like maintain the bleeds. Also, like now, as I'm playing with Taste of Blood, maintaining your Thrash as well can be very nice to do. It's like low prio still, but yeah, maintaining Thrash can be super nice. As you can see, my Swarm jumped back now, which means I'm actually gonna like hold my next Swarm. If the Swarm doesn't jump back on your kill target, you can just like use it again off CD. But if it jumps back, then it's like hold it for the next go. Maintain full bleeds. And then once the next go comes around, we're gonna just like apply Swarm, Maim, Feral Frenzy, Bite. Again, just maintain bleeds. These pretty much are your goals. Of course, you're gonna have to kite and things. As the enemy will be trying to kill you as well. But yeah, with the Shackle though, the new trinket, the damage of the trinket is increased by your Swarm. So if you don't have like Frenzy, you can actually do a huge go with just like a Shackle. Have Swarm up, and we can go like this, like Maim even, and then you can Shackle, and then you can kite on the Shackle, for example, by the pillar, and it's huge pressure as well. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much just like maintain bleeds. When you have goes, use your Swarm, Fury, and Frenzy together on like a Maim, and it's big damn. But overall, just maintain the bleeds, keep pressure going, and that's how it's played. Rotation wise, of course, you're gonna have to utilize bear form. You gotta kite and things like this in like an actual arena, which I've many videos playing arena on my channel, which you can check out. But yeah, that's pretty much the rotation. I'm just gonna like talk about some more tips and tricks for Necrolord Falldruid and PvP. Alright, so there's my Necrolord guide for 9.1. As you can see, it's pretty much the same as last patch, with like some small changes here and there, but in general the same. Of course, we got the new conduits and everything, which we talked about. But yeah, so mainly just like remember to maintain bleeds at all times. All bleeds is huge for just the overall pressure, and then do your goes when you can with the Swarm, Maim, and Feral Frenzy. Also, I definitely want to buy a Shackle if I'm you, as it is increased by the Swarm. So some crazy bursts with it. But yeah, that's the video, and I'll see you guys soon.